Hello and welcome or welcome back to today's Hosting for the Holiday series. Today is episode 2 and we are focusing on meal planning and prepping to make your holiday hosting stress-free. If you missed episode 1, I will make sure to have that link down below as we talked about getting your house ready for the holiday season. I shared some of my favorite tips for creating a space that is both welcoming and cozy, so be sure to check that one out. Also, a huge shout out to Caraway for sponsoring today's video. Whether you are a seasoned pro or you are hosting for the holidays for the first time, I hope that today's video can bring you some inspiration and motivation and help to ease the holiday stress. We're focusing today on strategies to get you prepped and ready so that day of you can focus on spending time with your loved ones rather than the chaos that sometimes hosting for the holidays can bring. Also, I apologize in advance. My daughter is homesick today, so if you hear a little bit of coughing in the background, welcome to my life. Let's go ahead and jump right in. First up, let's get organized. I like to use my cell phone because I am constantly changing things. So I go in the notes section of my phone and that is where the magic happens. Feel free to use pen and paper, but again, I prefer digital because if I use paper, it just gets all over the house. I like to start with a single meal plan. Planning and prepping your food for the holidays on your phone with the meal plan is really going to help ease a lot of stress. When I am creating my meal plan, I like to actually break it down into categories on my phone. So for me, I always have appetizers, and that includes also things like the charcuterie board, any side dishes, main dishes, as well as desserts. This way you are clear on the menu, you're clear on what's happening, and there's no, hopefully, last minute scrambling. My meal plan truthfully stays the same every single season. Whether I am hosting for Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, it doesn't matter. My menu remains mainly the same. I am not one to start integrating new things because it's tried and true, and why change something that isn't broken? So if you are looking for recipes, you can search for them on Pinterest. I will link all of my favorite recipes down below that I use personally. But if you are looking for recipes, just gather your meal plan, and then once you have it set in stone, you can add it to your note section of your phone. The other note section that I have in my phone is my grocery list. So as I am navigating through all of the different recipes and figuring out what ingredients I need, what I'm making for sure, the meal plan is officially set. It's time to make the grocery list. Now, I like to do grocery lists on my phone too because whenever I do pen to paper, I always seem to forget my grocery list at home and then I forget something. So this is what works for me. You do what works for you. So step 2 is to organize your meal prep timeline. I truthfully prep about a month in advance. From doing things like making meals ahead and I freeze them, and then a couple days before I am prepping the fresh stuff like fruits, veggies, maybe my charcuterie board. I always like to pre-cut all of my cheeses, like everything is pre-cut and ready to go so that the morning of, it's just a matter of throwing everything together. This is literally my secret weapon to stress-free holiday hosting. Step 3, which I kind of mentioned in step 2 because I got a little bit ahead of myself, but step 3 is to prep anything in advance that you can, like your fruits and your veggies. This has been a tip, whether you're hosting or you are just meal planning in general for the week, prepping your vegetables is key to any sort of stress-free 4 p.m. like hustle and the grind. If you're a mom, you know, or if you're hosting for the holidays, prep those veggies in advance. In doing so, this is going to help relieve so much stress the day of when you're trying to manage so many different dishes. So go ahead, prep your charcuterie ingredients and prep those veggies. I love using Caraway's prep set for this. I recently got their prepware and oh my goodness. Not only is it super aesthetically pleasing, but it is super practical. We added in the bamboo cutting boards and I absolutely love the aesthetic that they bring to our kitchen. On top of that, the knives are so sharp, creating a seamless prep for you when you're rushing. Once everything is chopped, I like to go ahead and store everything in my glass containers. Caraway also has some incredible prepware, and so you can use what you have, but I highly recommend glass as I find It just seals it better, and I don't like to use plastic in our house. Additionally, if you are interested in Caraway, I actually have an exclusive deal for you using my link down below in the description. Go ahead and check them out. They are having a more you buy, the more you save deal. And it is such a great opportunity and time to invest into your cookware for this holiday season. I love absolutely everything I own from Caraway. And my favorite thing about it is that they are both pretty and practical and come with the organizational systems for everything that you purchase. Again, I will leave my link down below in the description. And thanks again to Caraway for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Step 4 is to make and store your ingredients ahead of time. To make things a lot easier, I like to actually choose items from each category and prep them in advance. My go-to is cheesy Brussels sprouts, sweet potato pie. These two side dishes can be prepped ahead of time, and they can in fact be frozen. You're welcome. That way, morning up, they can just be popped into the oven and simply be reheated. Trust me, these turn out every single time. With everything prepped, organized, and stored, you'll have a smooth and stress-free experience when it's time to serve. And thanks to Caraway's easy to clean prepware, you'll have minimal cleanup too. So this is everything that you can do ahead of time. Now we're gonna focus on day before and day of. So step 5 is to set up your holiday tablescape. One of my favorite time-saving hacks is to actually set up your tablescape the evening before. In setting your tablescape up early, either again the night before or the morning of, this is where you can use the steps that I talked about in episode 1, like delegating to your kids or your spouse. By setting up the serving station in advance, I can easily see where everything is going to go, and it's just less chaotic when it's time to serve. You can use little placeholders. I found the cutest ones off of Target and use those to remember where each dish goes. This is also really great and handy if you have someone, let's say, who is gluten-free and you have a specific dish that is made to somebody's dietary restrictions. One of the biggest stressors, I think, when it comes to holiday hosting is ensuring everything is made on time. So step number 6 is to make a game plan for reheating your food. Personally, I like to give myself a 1 hour leeway when it comes to cooking the turkey, or if you're cooking like a prime rib or a roast beef or whatever, give yourself a 1 hour leeway, because guess what? The meat can rest and it is so delicious. I have had my meat be done an hour, if not longer, in advance, and nothing else is cooked. And so I have learned to give myself that 1 hour leeway specifically for the meat to ensure that it just has a little bit longer to rest. And since doing this and implementing this tip, it has completely changed my hosting game. So personally, the morning of, what I like to do is I note my timeline, and everything has a time of when it needs to go into the oven, into the crock pot, however it's being cooked or reheated. Everything is written on that timeline. This way I can totally avoid the chaos of that last minute scrambling. And again, just follow that timeline. Everything is well known in advance, and it just creates a seamless, stress-free experience. Step 7 is to prep a final cleanup. We have a small house, and our kitchen actually serves as, well, the cooking space as well as our serving space. So when it comes to hosting, I do like to have a last minute plan of cleaning and prepping so that when it is time to serve, everything is still beautifully outlined. So before guests arrive, I like to do a quick final cleanup of the kitchen. Having that clean workspace makes it so much easier to manage last minute tasks. With Caraway's non-stick cookware, cleanup is super quick, which is a lifesaver when you're preparing multiple dishes, and their organizers make it so seamless. A clean kitchen also means you have less to worry about once your guests start arriving. Step 8 is to consider buffet style. As we approach the final moments before guests start to arrive, I like to consider how I'm actually going to serve the food. And I have found, again, specifically with our circumstances, that buffet style is simply the way to go. I find there's less food waste because people are obviously serving themselves. And so you are not plating all of the food and risking somebody not wanting something specifically, especially if you're feeding kids and stuff like that. So we always like to do buffet style. Kids get their plates first, and then adults kind of go ahead. And it's just a great system that works, and I highly recommend trying it if you haven't yet. The final step to stress-free hosting is to sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. Hosting should be fun, and with this approach, I firmly believe that it can make your life so much easier and just stress-free. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you have not yet checked out the other episodes from this Hosting from the Holiday series, I will leave those linked down below in the description. And of course, I would love to know if you are hosting. Let me know down below in the comments. Thanks again to Caraway for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to go ahead and check them out. I do have an exclusive discount for you guys that will be linked down below in the description. We will see you guys in my next video. Bye!